Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you already know, this is your US General 5-drawer tool cart with side tray and deep compartment. And today is Sunday, okay? And as I always state, as usual, I always keep my signature lingering somewhere in the background, my Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You already know. Okay, in yesterday's segment, I went off to demonstrate and show, some modifications when it comes to the Husky magnetic cordless tool organizer. Okay, I did give a visual of the tool holder connected to the cart. Yesterday, I did state in that particular video that the holder was being held up with two Harbor Freight magnetic strips. Okay, a little while earlier today, I came back to the storage because I kind of figured I got my mind together a little bit as far as what I wanted to do with the organizer. So I got into it a little bit. Just now I just came from a local Home Depot real quick to obtain some extra hardware. Okay, um, basically when I'm shooting these videos, uh, a good majority of the time I never have people around me that can actually record the footage, while I'm actually doing it, nor do I have a tripod stand. I'm not a professional cameraman or anything like that. I just use one of my tablets that is normally connected to my tool cart that I use for diagnostic purposes to film this content. Okay, but what little bit that I got through a little while earlier, I'm gonna give you a good visual of that and give you a good visual step by step of my intentions as far as mounting the Husky magnetic cordless tool holder to the cart. Some of the work is already done, so I'm gonna give you a visual what's in place at the prior moment. So right now in this particular video, while you're seeing the holder not actually on the cart, towards the end of this video, you're going to be able to see the finishing touches to me doing this modification right here. Just as well as I have some other modifications to get through. I actually have to do a little inventory check on some sockets, okay, from Snap-on to see basically what I'm still lacking and what I still need, okay. So if you could stick around to the end of the video, highly appreciate it. If you like the videos, you like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down. As you already know, I always state, I'm not a hater. I just get into my craft and I do this for the viewers. Okay, so we're gonna dive right in. I'm gonna get some items out, okay, get some hardware out, and I'm gonna give you a little step-by-step process into doing this modification. Okay, so let's get to it and walk with me. Okay, as you can see, first and foremost, I have quite a few items that are sitting on top of the tool cart. Okay, um, and my first use, due to the fact that my US General 5-drawer tool cart is black. Okay, testically compared to a lot of other Harbor Freight US General tool carts that are out there that are basically of different colors, which you have a different variety of colors. You have white, yellow, royal blue, orange, you have red, okay, out there, burnt orange or whatever they want to call it, okay. So when it comes to doing the drilling first and being able to get the proper level and measurements before doing drilling on any of your carts, in the beginning, what I technically was going to do is I was going to disassemble the top chest from its actual subframe so that I can do the drilling from the inside. But then after good enough visual, I thought, well, maybe I don't really have to go that far. But in my suggestion, depending upon how many tools you have, what type of time that you have on your hands, I would suggest to disassemble the top chest, okay, so that you can gain clearer access when installing the hardware, okay, once you have your holes established and drilled and leveled properly, okay. As you notice here, at the top of the tool cart, basically what I did is I used some of this tape here, right? But To establish the holes, as you can see, I have the magnetic rails connected to the Husky cordless tool holder, but the magnetic rails are not mounted. They're just basically sticking by the magnets. Okay, so I'm going to get one of the magnets off so that I can give you a good clear visual of how I just basically did what I did. I'm going to try to give this to you step by step. It's, you know, a little bit more technical and more harder for me to show without somebody actually recording me or me actually having a tripod stand at the prior moment, but we're going to get right to it. Okay, to get a good visual, as you can see, the magnetic strip here and how it actually has two holes. The original hardware that comes on this US General 5-drawer tool cart, okay, as you can see down here, okay, at its subframe um, cross member here, the holes that are in these magnetic strips actually align to the exact measurements of these holes. But in the hardware here on the cross member, okay, they're squared off in the corner. So it's not to say that the holes in the magnetic rail basically cannot be modified. And my suggestion when modifying it, I wouldn't use a regular normal drilling bit, okay, just so to say, as you can see that I have up here using some Milwaukee drilling bits, I would actually go to a smaller step bit, okay, to drill these out in order to get the measurement that you would like for the cross member down there, okay. But in my modifications, I didn't use that method, but that is just an idea that I want to point out there, okay. Now, as you can see, since my tool cart is actually black, okay, and as you see that I have the tape on the subframe of the cart, okay, I'm using a particular tape where that the adhesive is not too aggressive, okay, where that, you know, you don't want it to stick to the paint and peel the paint back when removing it, or leaving a whole bunch of sticky adhesive to the cart, and then now you have to get the wiping and cleaning, and say it starts to dull in the paint from whatever you're basically using to remove the adhesive from the paint. Okay, this is a good tape right here to use that's going to alleviate that. Okay, the reason why I use the tape, okay, to establish over the subframe first, okay, as you can see here, I have two Milwaukee bits. Okay, first I use this bit here, okay, to establish the hole. Give you a good example. This is Milwaukee 3/16, okay, and I use that to establish the hole. Once the hole was established, then I basically went to this size right here, which is a quarter, okay, to bore out the hole a little bit more wider. All right, now once I basically got the bottom holes established, what I did was, as you can see, the bottom magnetic strip is already connected to the cordless tool holder. So what I did was, once I got the bottom holes established, I connected this top magnetic strip, okay, to establish the other two holes, okay, that is located at the top. So just to give you a quick visual real quick of that. Okay, so like I was basically explaining, okay, as you can see, the bottom magnetic strip is what I used for my guide to establish the first two holes. Once I established these two holes right here, okay, and got everything aligned down there, then what I did was is I put the hardware in, okay, and I tightened it down so that the holster itself was flush against the subframe of the cart, okay. Then just as well as you see that I taped up the bottom, okay, I also taped up the top. Now, another reason why the tape was used, okay, instead of me using a tap, okay, to establish, a marker in order to drill, okay, I didn't want to damage the cart, okay, or scrape the paint. So when you're using this tape, you shouldn't have no problem with the bit walking on you, okay, and not necessarily establishing the hole, but damaging the cart, and the bit walking on you, scraping up the cart, okay. So just to give you an example of that also. Okay, so to give you an example, okay, so as you can see, when you drilling, okay, so that the bit doesn't walk on you when trying to establish a hole, okay, so that when you pull back the tape, okay, you get a fine cut, okay, towards the outside. Now, like I was basically stating earlier, all right, depending upon what type of time you have on your hands, whether your box is stationary at home, depending upon how many tools you have in your box, and whether you want to take them out the box and disassemble the top chest and take the top chest from off the subframe of the cart, I would actually suggest that, because it would give you better access to, like I said, to installing the hardware, okay, especially once the cordless tool holder is in place, okay. So where I'm at right now in my modifications, like I said, I just came back from Home Depot obtaining some more hardware, because now I'm in the next following stage of actually mounting the magnetic rails to the holster itself and locking down the magnetic rails to the holster. And then once that's finished, then I will mount the whole unit to the cart permanently. So basically, this is where we're at, okay, in this modification right here. So now I'm about to pause the video. I'm about to get to work, get to it, okay, get everything locked in so that we can get a good, clear visual of how things is going to look once it's finished. Another thing that I want to point out, okay, before I tend to um, begin this work, as you can see in which direction I actually have the magnetic rails, okay? As you can see, they're face flush towards the holster, so that the magnets are in live direct contact with the metal surface of the holster itself, okay. So this is how I will be installing it. I will not be installing the magnetic rails to the outside of the cart, okay. The magnetic rails will sit towards the inside base of the subframe, okay. So another thing I want to point out about that is that when you are positioning everything and you are lining up everything, you want to be very clear what you want to do, because technically you may not want to establishing and positioning the cordless tool holder but so high, because you got to keep in mind that you need to gain access when installing the hardware, either at the top or the bottom, okay. As you can see at the bottom, you will have only but so much room, okay, to access the hardware. But when it comes to the top, okay, you won't have only but so much room, especially if you have big hands, okay. So that's something else that I want to point out real quick. All right. So just to give you a visual real quick so that you can see how all four holes are basically already established. Okay. And like I said, how I used adhesive tape that's not aggressive. Okay. It doesn't leave no resin on the cart. Okay. Okay. Another thing I want to point out is that you can see, okay, I have two different sets of hardware. All right, all the hardware that actually comes with this Husky cordless magnetic tool organizer, I haven't used absolutely any of the hardware that actually comes with this unit. Okay, because first of all, as you can see, you know, you have your bolts, and then it has its nuts, okay, as security locks. The hardware that comes with this Husky cordless magnetic tool holder doesn't come with that, okay, as far as the nuts to hold the fasteners down, because this magnetic cordless tool holder is not designed technically in comparison with this cart, okay. It's basically more designed to be mounted against a flush, flat, solid surface, okay, which technically the cart is not as of that same application. So this is why the modifications, you know, is important. In order for you to get a good visual as far as what you want to do, this is where your creativity starts to kick in. Okay, so now by me getting this hardware right here is due to the fact that as you take a look at the magnetic strips, okay, the magnetic strips is a certain thickness, okay. The sheet metal of the cordless tool holder, you know, is testically thin, all right, but you want to make sure that you have a long enough hardware that's going to succeed the length to be able to go all the way through, okay. So I want to give another example of how the magnetics strips are lined up. As you can see, everything is flushed running along the top, okay, and how it looks. So it more enough looks like a spacer, testically compared to on your US General as if you would have a side tray, okay, and that spacer would allow the top of the hood of the cart to actually close, so you can see, you know, just how well the magnets are. Like I said, when the holster is going to be mounted, it's not going to be mounted towards the outside of the cart. These rails are going to sit on the inside of the subframe. Another thing that I want to point out is that once these magnetic rails are basically mounted directly to the cordless tool holder, when installing it on the cart, okay, you're going to have to position the holster in a certain angle, okay, in order to get it inside all four bars, all right. You also got to keep in mind how you're going to access putting the hardware in, all right. So once I start to begin that process, then you'll understand in visual what I'm basically talking about, because as you can see the bottom, okay, you'll be able to get clearance down here, okay, to access that bottom hardware and install the bottom hardware. But you got to be mindful to how you're installing the top, okay. This is why you need the proper clearance, okay. So if you are an individual who has big hands, keep that in mind, okay. Okay, another thing I want to show with this cordless tool holder, okay, as you can see towards the inside, okay, they have these two pins where four um different fasteners, okay, would be established here. Now with the magnet basically towards the back, the magnet is in the position of these, but it's not directly centered, okay. So I want to inform you of that to keep you in mind to how you would want to establish the magnet and how you would want to mount the magnets to the holster itself, okay. And the same thing with the bottom, as you can see. Now you don't have that on the inside, but you have all of this area where that you can basically go in the center, all right. Pay attention to when you're drilling, because from here all the way to here, okay, is a long magnet. So you want to make sure that the bits that you are using are capable of piercing the sheet metal and the magnets successfully. Okay, so this is where we're at in the modification right now. I'm about to get this work done. All right, so I'm gonna pause the video, get to it. Right, so follow me and walk with me. Okay, real quick, as you can see now, here is the back of the cordless tool organizer. All right, and how you see how I have the adhesive tape, right? So now I'm basically getting ready to establish the holes in order to basically lock down the magnetic rails to the cordless tool organizer itself. All right. Okay, a few things that I want to point out. What I just basically noticed when doing the drilling, okay, to the magnetic strips, which you're basically gonna have to do, okay. As you can see, there's different sections, okay, of the magnetics. Depending upon where you are drilling from the outside, okay, basically depending upon what type of bits you're using, will not be able to pass the magnet. So what you have to do is, whichever area that you're basically drilling, what you want to do is you want to remove that magnet, okay, towards that side. All right, and then once you establish the hole in the rail, what you want to do is you want to go back to using the tape, okay, on the holster, because now you already have your hole established on the rail, and this will basically be used as your guide. Okay, to give you a better example, just give me a second. Okay, so as you can see here, so my hole is basically already established to mount the bottom magnetic rail, okay, when using the hammer drill. All right, just to give you a good example, save you some time. Okay, so as you see, all right, that I have my holes established in order to mount the rail to the cordless tool holder. I am going to go to mention to state that the steel that's the cordless tool holder is designed of, the metal is type thick, okay, was having an issue with these two bits piercing, okay, and establishing the hole in the organizer itself. All right, so as you can see here, what I had to do is I had to move to a #1 Milwaukee step bit, okay, just to give a good example, okay, in order to establish the hole here. All right, so just to give you a little quick visual of the hole established without the tape on. Okay, real quick, just want to show how basically got it tacked so that it's secure at the top. Okay, so now I basically have my magnetic strips secured, okay, to the cordless tool holder. As you can see, okay, towards the back. So you see how things is bolted in. So basically it'll be locked in from 6 different positions, okay. So now I'm going to get this strapped down to the cart real quick, and we're going to get to it. Okay, just got finished touching things up. Okay, the Husky cordless magnetic tool holder now is permanently locked in to the cart. Okay, you can see the hardware that's have everything locked into place. Okay, everything is evenly balanced, as you can see. Okay, so I'm about to clean things back up. All right, get some tools organized in it, put the items back, you know, in the side compartment where they belong. All right, one thing I want to point out to mention, when you do get your hole situated for the top cross member of the magnetic rail. What you basically have to do is um, you have to put the top rail, make sure that this compartment is placed on the inside so that the bottom rail is already in, okay? Then you have to place the magnetic rail separate so that this part is hanging, okay? When time to install it, what you want to do is you want to put it back up. What you want to do is you want to get the cross members in and get it established, okay? Because you already have your access point here. So this part can drop down while you get everything established up there, okay? When time to fasten everything down, all you have to do is just lift, okay, and then bolt back from the inside. And now you have access, okay, for the back lockdown bolt, okay. The hardware I used was a 7/16 on the inside hold downs, okay. But as you can see, all the hardware is from the outside inwards, okay. So just to give you a good clear picture of that, all right. So I'm gonna get some things together. Like I said, I got quite a few modifications to do. If I don't get through everything today, I'll possibly get back to it a little bit more this week. All right. So just give me a moment. Okay, just to give you, a little side visual. Okay. So as you can see, things are fitting nice and properly. Like I went to demonstrate in the last previous video, okay, how the smaller guns, and as you can see, the extra space that surrounds the tool, the hex and the 1/4 inch stubby, okay. This could be an issue for some, in their personal preference. It may not necessarily be. Okay, if you are an individual who work in a shop where you move your cart from side to side inside the shop, and you don't want things rumbling around, then I would suggest that you get the molding, to surround the inside to at least give it some little bit slight more stability. Okay, when it comes to the hammer drill, it's not much play. Okay, I did demonstrate the issue that I was having with my 1/2 inch drive Ingersoll Rand and one of my 3/8 drive Ingersoll Rands, because I actually have two different 3/8s. I have one in the stubby version, then I also have the 215, but as you can see, the 215 is a whole lot much more slimmer in comparison, okay. But I did want to do this little demonstration and this modification because I do actually have a lot of different guns, okay, just as well as you see the hammer drill design. I also have a Milwaukee M18 fuel brushless impact 1/4 inch impact wrench that is of that same design, okay, that would fit in this cordless tool holder, would definitely suit the need of me eliminating that blow molded case from out the tool cart, which would free up a lot of real estate in the bottom drawer, okay, because I do have quite a few guns inside the cart, just as well as I have guns that sit on top of the cart and guns that are actually not even in the cart, because technically there's really not enough room. This is why I need to mount two of these cordless tool holders towards the back of the cart, side by side over here, okay, which will require me to basically get 9 different guns around the cart, okay. So just to point that out, in my recommendations, this is a solution, okay, to your cordless solution, whether it's drills, cordless impacts, pneumatic impact wrenches, okay, because basically I really use both, okay. Cordless is not actually my first go-to, okay. My first go-to is air pneumatic, but unfortunately I'm not in the shop at the prior moment, so you want this is when cordless actually come into play, because the type of work that I would basically get done in a shop, I can actually get done without air, okay. So just to point that out, I definitely wanted to put this cordless tool holder towards this side of the cart, roughly until I obtained the other two, because I wanted to use this particular side for the pneumatic air tools, okay, and use the the six in the back for the cordless. Okay, just to give a little demonstration or idea as I go along in the modifications, and just as well as doing the work, you'll be able to get the first bird's eye view um, of the content just as well. Okay. Okay, so as you're basically getting a look at the layout, okay, in today's video, that's going to be the Husky cordless tool magnetic organizer, okay, and how I just basically did the modification. You know, everybody is always going to have their own personal way as far as how they do things or how they want things to look. Like I said, I do got quite a few different modifications that I need to get to, that I've been kind of holding off for quite a second. It's just unfortunately I've been having so many other different things going on at the same time. But as you can see, things are coming along slowly but surely. Okay. So if you like this video right here, give it a thumbs up. You know, if you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down. Like I said, I'm not a hater, anything like that. I just get into my craft. All right. And I enjoy being able to film the footage and the content to be able to give it to the viewers out there. Okay. If you're interested in these Husky magnetic cordless tool organizers, you can pick them up on the Home Depot online site. Okay, they do run for roughly $19.99, but there is a catch that comes along with it, which is the tax and the shipping fees. Okay, so you know, when looking into this item right here, do your research. If you could basically pick it up and purchase it from a different platform, I would definitely suggest that. Okay, because the one that I actually have to the cart, you know, that's what I did. All right, so like I always state, this is your US General 5-drawer tool cart with side tray and deep compartment. And everybody out there, you know, enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy your Sunday. Keep it a safe and a blessed one as always. I'm about to get into my, you already know, my Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and we're going to check you later. Peace.